Cuba has had a socialist political system since 1959 based on the one state, one party principle. Cuba is constitutionally defined as a Marxist-Leninist socialist state guided in part by the political ideas of Karl Marx, one of the fathers of historical materialism, Friedrich Engels and Vladimir Lenin. Despite being regarded as a communist state, the ideology of José Martí is what serves as the main source of influence in Cuban politics. The present constitution, which was passed in a 2019 referendum, also describes the role of the Communist Party of Cuba to be the leading force of society and of the state, and as such has the capability of setting national policy. The 2019 constitution identifies the ideals represented by Cuban independence hero José Martí and revolutionary leader Fidel Castro as the primary foundation of Cuba's political system, while also stressing the importance of the influence of the ideas of Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, and Vladimir Lenin. The most recent leader was Raul Castro, who held the title of First Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba, the most powerful position in Cuba. As of 2019, Miguel Díaz-Canel is now the president of Cuba and is likely to succeed Raul Castro as First Secretary in 2021. Executive power is exercised by the government, which is represented by the Council of State and the Council of Ministers. Legislative power is exercised through the unicameral National Assembly of People's Power, which is constituted as the maximum authority of the state. With effect from the 10th of October 2019, Miguel Díaz-Canel is president and Manuel Marrero is prime minister. The previous president of the State Council, Raul Castro, brother of former leader Fidel Castro, remains first secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba and commander-in-chief of the Revolutionary Armed Forces. Fidel Castro ruled from 1959 to 2006 before illness forced him to hand power to his brother. Esteban Larzo Hernandez is president of the National Assembly. Executive power is exercised by the government. Until February 2008, Cuba was led by President Fidel Castro, who was chief of state, head of government, prime minister, first secretary, and commander-in-chief of the Cuban Armed Forces. The Ministry of Interior is the principal organ of state security and control. According to the Cuban Constitution, Article 94, the first vice president of the Council of State assumes presidential duties upon the illness or death of the president. On July 31, 2006, during the 2006 Cuban transfer of duties, Fidel Castro delegated his duties as president of the Council of State, first secretary of the Cuban Communist Party and the post of commander-in-chief of the armed forces, to first vice president Raul Castro. Since 2019, the president of Cuba is also limited to 2 5-year terms. Cuba has an elected national legislature, the National Assembly of People's Power, which has 612 members, elected every 5 years and holds brief sessions to ratify decisions by the executive branch. The National Assembly convenes twice a year in ordinary periods of sessions. However, it has permanent commissions to look after issues of legislative interest. Among its permanent or temporary commissions are those in charge of issues concerning the economy, sugar industry, industries, transportation and communications, constructions, foreign affairs, public health, defense and interior order. The National Assembly also has permanent departments that oversee the work of the commissions. Local assemblies of the People's Power, international relations, judicial affairs and the administration. Article 88 of the Constitution of Cuba, adopted in 1976, provides for citizen proposals of law. Prerequisite that the proposal be made by at least 10,000 citizens who are eligible to vote. In 2002, supporters of a movement known as the Varela Project submitted a citizen proposal of law, with 11,000 signatures calling for a national referendum on political and economic reforms. The government response was to collect 8.1 million signatures to request that Cuba's National Assembly enact a constitutional amendment making socialism an unalterable feature of Cuban government. The Committees for the Defense of the Revolution is a network of neighborhood organizations across Cuba, and most Cubans are members. The organizations are designed to put medical, educational or other campaigns into national effect, and to report counter-revolutionary activity. It is the duty of the CDR officials to know the political activities of each person in their respective blocks. Political parties other than the PCC are illegal. Suffrage is non-compulsory and is afforded to Cuban citizens who have resided for 2 years on the island. Such citizens must be aged over 16 years, must not have been found guilty of a criminal offense, and cannot be mentally handicapped. Cubans living abroad are denied the right to vote. The national elections for the 612 members of the National Assembly